And the UK's governing Labour Party will begin its annual conference in the coming hours as it struggles with plummeting public support for Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Opinion polls suggest it's trailing the populist right-wing Reform UK party, and Labour MPs starting to question whether their leader is up to the job, we're told. Rory Challands reports from Liverpool.
14 months ago, Labour soared to power with a landslide. Keir Starmer's party overturned 14 years of Conservative rule with a 174-seat majority, the largest since 1997. So why, as Labour gathers for its annual conference in Liverpool, is the mood so sour?
For only 1 year in office, it feels like they have had quite a few years of difficult time. It needs to paint a picture that says, look, this is the country we can be, these are the policies to get us there, and this is how Labour's politics, Keir Starmer's politics, can defeat reform and the growing right-wing pressures that he's feeling.
The rundown economic landscape Labour inherited has limited its room to move. But Labour has still taken a damaging series of missteps. There have been sackings and resignations, an MP rebellion and policy U-turns. And woven through it all is a sense that Starmer's political instincts are questionable, and he has little talent for explaining his vision to the public.
It's hard to find anyone who'll say that this government is doing a good job, and opinion pollsters have really been trying. No governing party, going back as far as the 1980s, has seen its favourability fall as far in its first year in power. And the man benefiting from Labour's woes, twisting the knife whenever he can, is Nigel Farage.
The leader of the right-wing populist Reform UK has fanned fears on immigration and ridden anger at the government's failure to stop migrant crossings from France to a 10-point lead over Labour in the polls. Tougher new immigration rules have not satisfied the right, but have alienated some of Starmer's own MPs. The Prime Minister is understandably rattled, and on Friday launched what he called a progressive fightback.
This is the defining political choice of our times. A politics of predatory grievance, preying on the problems of working people, and using that infrastructure of division against the politics of patriotic renewal, rooted in communities, building a better country, brick by brick from the bottom up.
But many Labour MPs say they have lost faith in the man who led them to victory only last July. There are credible reports that some are already plotting his replacement. Rory Challands, Jazeera, Liverpool.
Well, Patrick Diamond is a former policy advisor for the Labour Party government under Tony Blair. He's attending the Labour Party conference, joins us now from Liverpool. Good to have you with us. So how important a moment is this for Keir Starmer to prove he is the man for the leadership and to put to bed any question about a challenge?
Well, it's good to be with you, Sammy. And yes, this is a pivotal conference for Keir Starmer because, as your report makes clear, he is under significant political pressure. There is a sense in the Labour Party that the government lacks clear direction, and it's also struggling to establish a policy on issues like migration, which are of grave concern to many Labour voters. So it's essential this week that Keir Starmer shows his party, his MPs, his activists, that he has a clear plan and that he knows where he's taking the government.
That clear plan, does it also have to include a more overtly forceful attack on reform?
Well, it's clear from the speeches that Keir Starmer has been making in recent days that he intends to frame the next election as a choice between progressive values under Labour and the forces of reaction represented by Reform UK and Nigel Farage, that is the positioning on which he wants to fight the next election. With the Conservative Party at a historically weak point, it does appear as if Reform UK is the greatest electoral threat. And so in that sense, it's understandable that Keir Starmer would do that. I think just to say quickly as well that there's a sense that Nigel Farage and Reform UK have overreached themselves on immigration policy by moving to an extreme position. And Keir Starmer wants to capitalise on that by showing that we can be tough on immigration, but in a way that is reasonable and which avoids the extremism with which Nigel Farage is increasingly associated.
Patrick, isn't that the challenge, the crux of the challenge that Labour is facing, or Keir Starmer is facing? How does he stay true to traditional Labour values and also try and catch up some of the lost ground that's going to the right on issues like immigration?
Indeed, that's always the challenge for Labour governments, which is that they have to take difficult decisions in power, particularly when the economy in the UK is not as strong, clearly, as the government would like it to be. Growth, falling inflation, still relatively high. The challenge is always to take those tough decisions, but at the same time do so on the basis of Labour's values on social justice and fairness, but also on having an immigration system which is fair and responsible and which recognises that the millions of immigrants who've come to Britain.
What does that kind of policy look like?
Well, it has to show that on the economy, Labour's willing to make choices that would benefit ordinary workers. I think it's done that on issues like the minimum wage. This week, Keir Starmer wants to show that on issues like housing, Labour will build more homes to help those who are shut out of the housing market. I think other issues as well. He's announced a big investment in towns and parts of the UK which have been left behind economically. And he has to show that those policies are going to deliver for average working people.
All right, Patrick Diamond, good to have had the chance to talk to you, Chair of the Policy Network think tank. Thank you so much.
Don't miss out. Get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news, expert insight. Like, share, stay ahead.